Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks for attending the meeting. It's not so many of us at the moment, but hopefully more will join later. But it's 5 p.m. back in the UK if you're in a different time zone. So you're just gonna go ahead and start. Um, right, today is a very, very exciting one. But before I jump in, um, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Mehrdad. I'm the co-founder of SalesGun. And it's not really about me today. I'm not going to so much talk about myself. You probably can Google and learn everything about us, but let's just make it about you and how you can get the best out of your Google My Business, which recently they changed the name, calling it Google Profile these days. So yeah, it's about how you can get the best out of your Google profile or Google My Business, whatever name that you're familiar with. So let's straight dive in. What we are going to cover today is why does Google profile matter or Google My Business, um, and how Google really works, and why should Google do that at all? What should Google put you for free in front of their audience? And how to win at Google. Probably a lot of your competitors are also on Google at the moment. And how to really beat the competition and just get the bigger share out of the leads that Google generate every day. And advantages of booking for your customers. Also, how to implement an automated system around it all, because as we know, you're definitely very busy running your business, so don't want to really spend too much time on Google or anywhere really besides running your business. So why Google at all? There's been a survey done in the UK in 2021 of 45,000 anonymous businesses in the UK, and Google has been biggest in the industry, generating over 17 billion pounds worth of business only on Google My Business. Usually, car finance and car dealerships, they had the most number of calls, but hotels and restaurants, they had the most number of views. And yeah, and home services and professional services, they generated the most business out of that. And when I say professional business, I'm talking about lawyers. We've got Lindo here, so copywriters as well. It falls in that category. And high visibility, you can see 49% of businesses receive more than 1,000 views and search every month on Google My Business, which is massive. And high intent leads, in terms of when usually people need a product or service, one of the first things they do, they just go to Google and they search it. So the intent is there. They are interested in that product or service, maybe not right there and then, but there is a huge interest there depending on you. Once they get in touch, that interest might convert to business. Also, a very good, nice one for us and probably for many other businesses out there is you keep 100% of what you earn. Google is not cutting any commission, so you can keep everything, which is very, very nice. And before I jump in, why Google does this at all and do it all for free? Because you can open a Google My Business account for free. And how Google works is their customers are the ones who come and do the search, really. They charge businesses differently, of course, in their PPC and stuff. But in terms of search, the real customer is the one who do the search. So they just want to put the right business in front of people who use their console to search. And that's why they want the more number of businesses they have, the more number of options they give, and the more number of secure options they give their searchers, those guys are a lot more likely to come back and use Google again. And it's a huge for local businesses, so we can take advantage of that. But um, of course, like anything else, the competition is high, and as you see, the top three only when somebody search for a service, the top three, they win the most views. I'm not talking about the most sales, but they win the most number of views. So next step, I'd like to just go and talk about how can you rank top three, how Google really rank you in the top three, um, your profile. So number one, this is something I borrowed from Google themselves on one of their uh, webinars. So reviews are number one, and I'm not just talking about 5 stars here. Is the number of reviews and how recent those reviews are. So it's very important to just keep asking for reviews and make sure the reviews are very fresh. So people put a lot of stock in what they read online anyway, and Google algorithm loves that as well. So it's very important to have your to not to be passive about reviews on Google if you want to get on the top three. And the second thing is responsiveness. You might have realized Google knows everything. So they also know if somebody gets in touch through Google My Business to you, how responsive you are. And the algorithm loves that as well. They tend to rank the more responsive businesses on the top because they want their searchers to have the best service. And those businesses who are responsive, this is something big for Google. So make sure if you get reviews or if you get a call, make sure you respond to those reviews or to those calls, even if it's just a thank or hey, I don't have time now, but I will get back to you later. And radius, another big one. Think about it, because people, they like to cover more areas, and they just let's say now we're in the UK, and in Birmingham is the biggest city nearby. So lots of local businesses, they go put Birmingham to get more business. But realistically, Google will look for the exact location of people who search, and they put those businesses closest to them first. So if you're in a big city, but try to make sure that you put the local area that you are in first in your location first thing, and then go for the biggest cities. Because if you're, let's say you're in Tamworth here and our area called Lakeside, on my Google My Business, I'm definitely gonna go put Lakeside first and then Tamworth. In that way, I just make sure that I win every business that comes like from Lakeside first and then Tamworth. So I've been just talking maybe too much. If you have any questions, by the way, please just write them in the chat, and in a few minutes we'll have a quick Q&A, and then we just cover the rest of the things that we want to talk about. Then at the end, we also have another 10-15 minutes Q&A to answer your questions. Talking about getting the top three to get the most number of views is comes okay, how? And again, it's another thing that we digged in to find out what profiles they after somebody views the view a product, view a page, Google My Business page, how they are more likely to take action. And we've come up with this that if you add all your relevant jobs in that vertical, if you're an electrician, just don't go general and talk about hey, we install like home electrical installation. If you're doing EV chargers, make sure you put it there. If you're doing solar panels, make sure you do it there. If you're professional services as well, just make sure you cover everything, put everything that you do And don't be shy. Google has no limits on how many services you can add to your profile. Just go ahead and add everything. And make sure you highlight your differentiators. It can be locally owned, tend to be one of the words that people pay attention to these days. And if there are two businesses with very similar reviews and very similar profiles, people tend to choose the ones that they are locally owned. So make sure you put it down. There is a term that can help you a lot. And also, if you have some certifications that matter in your niche, your industry, just put it out in your profile as well. And upload photos of your team and example of works. And we see lots of different photos, different variation go on Google My Business. But if you put photos of your team and while you're doing something, if you are like in professional services, just you sitting and talking to a client, or if you're a plasterer while you're doing a job, or painter, put photos of you and your team. And I don't know why 11, but 11 photos. 11 is like the magic number in Google My Business. 11 tends to be the profiles with 11 photos. They see more views than the ones with more or less photos. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And business hours, very important. Don't go always for 24/7, because if somebody calls you at 8 p.m. and you don't respond, you go right down, because Google again knows you as a not responsive business. So be careful with the hours that you put there. And that one is for local ads, really. If you go for local ads, Google local ads, make sure you set your budget based on the new calls that you can really handle. So again, responsiveness is a thing. Enable booking and also enable chat. I'll talk about this more on the next slides. Questions time. Sorry, it's your turn. I've been just going and going and going. Let me know if there is any questions so far, please. Okay. All right. Okay. Talking through two monitors, so please, I'm not being rude. I'm just making sure I receive the messages here. All right. It's a bit quiet, so it's either I'm being very understandable and understanding, which is great if that's the case. If not, you still can ask your questions, and then at the end we just go back to your questions. So we talked about who gets the most number of views, but that's a bit different to who gets the most number of sales, because the stats are really different, because people don't usually look at one profile and then contact them and just wait. They usually contact few. So who is more likely to win that business is the one that first of all have more channels to contact. Some of you might have realized this is something new from Google, this chat option, also the booking option that comes right next to it. Some people, are phone shy a bit, like myself. If I want to ask a very simple question and there is an option to chat, I'll probably go for that. So might be a simple question that, okay, I want to reserve a table for 4, or do you have a time like tomorrow, or I have this problem, can you solve it? If you add this chat option, which I'll go in the next slide, explain how you can do that. The number of inquiries you're going to receive suddenly jumps a lot more, because again, there are lots of people phone shy, or they don't like to call businesses, wait behind the line until they can be served. They just choose to attend chat. I know it comes with the problem that, okay, now there is an extra channel, I can't even answer my phone, but now I'm adding an extra channel to talk to people, and I might not have time for it. And again, Google doesn't might rank me as an unresponsive business. We'll get to that as well, that how you can tackle that problem. Also, the ones who gets in touch first, meaning if I'm looking for a service, I message or call few uh, services. The ones who gets back to me first is a lot more likely to get the business. So it's so important, if there is a message or if there is a call, make sure that you can take it. We have a solution to that as well. On the next slide, I'm going to go in detail through those as well. And then the ones that get better and more recent reviews, because people, myself, if I want to buy a product or service, probably you do the same. You just check what other people think about those businesses, especially if there is something bad, or you go check the 1 stars first to see what people think about this business or this product before you commit to. So to win a business, is so important to have all three in line. And I've been talking about the solution. There are automations out there that they can help you do exactly that. SalesGuide is the one that I vouch for. And not the only option, but the option that we recommend all the time, because it's not just Google My Business. It brings all the conversation from every other channel, like your Facebook, even your phone call and SMS, to direct SMS to you. So if somebody, if a visitor message you on Google My Business, you're just going to receive that straight as a text in this form, like you've just received a message from Google My Business, and this is what the message is. If it's important, if it's a lead, or it needs immediate attention, you can just call them back. If not, you can just leave it for later. Just like in Facebook and other channels, because we've got, like I'm checking my Facebook, and I see 2 weeks ago somebody just messaged me with an inquiry, and I didn't even see that message. It solves that problem, and also the responsiveness. And second problem of getting reviews, because we all know how important it can be, but sometimes you're lazy, sometimes you don't have time, and sometimes we ask, but it's not easy for our customers to just go and leave it for us. So again, with SalesGuide, once the job is done, you can send a review request automatically, and can be sent through SMS and email, or both. SMS tends to have 98% open rate, and we make it super simple for people. It takes them literally like 5 seconds to leave you a review. So there will be a massive boost of reviews, especially if you have a database. And the third thing that I want to talk about, because what happens when people message you and stuff, there are people that they, especially if you close that business, there are people that they have done business once with you, and the ones that you couldn't close that business for whatever reason, if they are not ready, if they don't have the money for your service at the time, there's always chance that they can come back to you at some point. They go for the first option that they have at the time. So being in front of them is super important. So what happens when you use services or automation like SalesGuide, you will have a list of people who contacted you. So that list becomes your gold mine. Anytime you can just keep nurturing that lead through SMS and through emails. And once they are ready, they can always come back to you. Also, we do it based on 4 Rs. Retarget, resell is pretty straightforward. Is when they buy from you, you can say, oh, you book this service, why don't you book this service now and then get this much off? A good example is like McDonald's, why don't you go for super size and all that? And it is all possible once you have a database of people who contact you on Google My Business or any other platform. And retargeting as well, if they are not ready to buy for whatever reason, probably I just checked a few days ago, flight to Turkey, and all I see, any website that I go, I just see book your flights, book your flights. It's exactly the same concept. If they are not ready to buy at that moment, you can keep showing, retargeting them until they are ready to buy. So um, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, please put it down there. I can respond after this final slide. But I really want to thank you for coming to this webinar, and it really means a lot to us. We've these webinars, uh, they've proven previously before that we just talked about something that people had no idea that such a thing exists, or they could get that much benefit from it. So at the end of these webinars, we usually, for people who are interested and they think they can get use of what we talk about, we offer a free 30-minute roadmap call, because again, every business is different and so is their need. And we, in this case, in this webinar today, if you don't have a Google My Business profile, we will create it for you, again, for free. And also, if you have it, we just update it based on the best practices that we talked about. Just make sure you get a better chunk of um, uh, your niche, the money that comes into your niche. Also, give you 30 days free VIP access to SalesGun. So once you use that, it's a no obligation as well. If you think that's a service that can use you, we can talk again, and then we can go ahead with it. If you don't get any benefits from it, as I said, no obligation to that at the end of your 30 days. And as you see, there is a lot of work here for us to do, a lot of like customization, because again, every business is different. So we just have to limit this offer to 10 entries. If you're interested, please put your email in the chat, or just directly email us, and then we'll get back in touch with you. If you have any questions, please write them in chat now, or you can just, I'm gonna open the voice and video for everyone. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Linda. Definitely we'll get in touch with you, and yeah, one of the team will get in touch with you, and be more than happy to set it up for you. And thanks for coming. Okay. Okay. About the price after the 30 days. Okay, very good question. But I think if a service, if it doesn't work for you, even £1 or $1, whatever your currency is a waste of money. But if it's something that works for you, let's say you make 10K from it, 1K investment can be a good investment for that. But our services range after that something between £49 to £199, to give you an exact number. Okay. Okay. There is a raise hand option down here as well. If you have any question, you don't want to type it, you can just raise hand, and then we can open the mic and video. Right. Well, the quick one today. Well done us. We finished 5 minutes before we thought, before we planned, which is great, because I know your time is precious. So I really, really hope that you enjoyed the presentation today, and you found it useful. If you have any feedback for us, we'll be so happy to hear about that. If there is more question in the future about Google My Business in particular, or how you can benefit from SalesGun in general, just get in touch. We'll be happy to talk and always starts with a question. So please ask that question, and we will be always very, very happy to help. So if there is no question, I think that's it from us today. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for attending this webinar, and we really hope to see you on the next one. Thank you.